if someone told you that you could change your life, change your entire life in 88 days, would you do it? Would you believe it?
We're John and Chelsea Jubilee. What would you say if we told you you could reverse most any ailment or symptom
without painful exercises in just 88 days? We have created the only patent-pending Inner Cellular Hydration protocol.
Don't miss your opportunity to feel better. We know there's a lot of false hope out there, and many people have bought programs that work for a moment. But life's a lot longer than a moment. You need something that's sustainable, that will take care of you for a lifetime.
We have been helping people gain inner cellular hydration for nearly 3 decades.
You will lose fat, not weight, fat, fast, including that killer visceral fat. Chronic dehydration is one of the root causes of many ailments and symptoms. We encourage you, go log on our website and look at these amazing testimonials.
Over and over again, we've heard our clients say it sounded too good to be true, but it worked for me.
I needed to reduce my arthritic pain, and I also had very, very high blood pressure that needed to normalize. And I'm pleased to say that I have absolutely no arthritic pain anymore, and my blood pressure is normal.
It was really cool to be able to get my life back. I didn't even think I'd cry talking about that.
I endorse the program wholeheartedly. It has led to improvements that I can't fully explain based on my medical knowledge as it was taught to me.
Ask your doctor about Energized Health. Don't miss your opportunity to transform your health now.
So log on to energizedhealth.com. That's energizedhealth.com.
Possible side effects may include increased joy, energy, potential reduction in prescriptions, more fulfilling relationships, fewer doctor visits, and overall improved quality of health and life.
Hey everybody, TC Bradley, host of God-Made Millionaire TV, the hottest show on television. And I've been waiting all week for you, yes, you, to stop on by and watch our show. And what a show I've got lined up for you today. Waiting on set, we have John and Chelsea Jubilee. John and Chelsea bring a powerhouse combination of passion for people, business gifting, and a life-changing health protocol that they believe can and will change the world. Chelsea helps many people suffering from cellular trauma, and John has helped thousands experience a complete transformation of body, mind, and spirit. And right now, they're waiting on set to tell you all about it. So without any further ado, let's crack open the God-Made Millionaire Bank Vault and let's activate some God-given dreams. John and Chelsea, welcome to the show.
Thank you, TC. Great to be here.
Well, I'm honored to have you both here today on our show, and I can tell you that I have such a passion for what your mission is in life with your health company, and I can tell you I speak from personal experience, you know, having suffered a cardiac arrest. So John, let's talk about your story. Let's unpack this box and talk about your story, sir.
Well, it really started in an unorthodox place, which would be the banking world. So in the banking world, I had a lot of success and had a lot of bank branches at a very young age, and a lot of stress comes with that. Thousands of employees and all those things going on. I ended up with hypertension, high blood pressure. Played a lot of athletics in my younger days and was bone on bone in both my knees. And anybody that's ever struggled with bone on bone, that's painful. That's really painful. Every step was a step of pain. If I took off my shirt, it looked like I swallowed a truck tire. But thankfully, you know, in the banking world, you wear suits, you know, and you can cover up about a good 40, 50 pounds, you know, with a good suit.
If you wear black.
Yeah. But in the midst of that pain, I prayed, I fasted, and I don't claim to be a smart guy, but I'm a gifted guy. And so, you know, I'm on the autism scale, and but God gave me an amazing brain. I tested out of 10 years of college math and was quoting encyclopedias in 4th grade. But I went and researched thousands of pages of science. And And here's what I came up with. Everything is at the cellular level. If your cells are healthy, everything is healthy. Well, then the next question was, well, how do you make a cell healthy? But again, I like to simplify things, and a hydrated cell is a healthy cell. Now, when people hear hydration, what do we all think of?
Drinking water.
Just drink some water. Just drink some water. Well, what I found out, TC, is everyone's drinking more water. But what's happening is, it'd be like, I'm going to use your globe here. This is a cell. If I poured 2 gallons of water on here, how much is going to get in there?
None.
None. It's going to bounce right off the cell. And our cells are as hard as this globe. And so we have 2 cellular membranes. And the older we get, there's oxidation, there's stress, there's chemical reactions in our body that happen, cortisol, other things, and they cause that cell to become so hard that none of that hydration's getting in anymore. And then inside this cell is trapped toxins and inflammation.
Right.
That's why we feel bad, we lose our energy. And nobody's getting older and losing their memory. That doesn't happen. The mind, the brain never ages, but they are getting dehydrated. And when you get dehydrated, just 10%, you lose half your neurotransmitters in your brain synapses. So what I discovered was how to change this cellular membrane to become porous, like a sponge. You know, if we pour the water on this chair, it's getting in.
Right.
'Cause there's sponge inside of here. And it goes inside that cell like a sponge. And when that happens, all the healthy hydration comes in, but it also pushes out those unhealthy toxins and inflammation out of that cell.
Chelsea, would you agree that you're one revelation away from a completely different life?
Yes, absolutely. And the biggest thing that we really love to educate people on is so many times when you think of health, you think of just the actual physical body of health. But there's a mind and a spiritual component to health. So we focus on healing the mind, the body, and the spirit. So we love to educate people on the fact that trauma plays a huge role in the health and well-being of somebody. So there's a lot of science to back that up.
That is
a lot of
big topic right there.
Yes, it is. So trauma is stored in the human body, and there's science to back that up. And a big part of our protocol is releasing cellular trauma that stays trapped inside the cells. So it influences decision-making. You had a gentleman on the show earlier, he talked about the importance of thoughts and how your brain, the differences. That's a lot about what we educate people on. So a lot of times people feel shame because they fall back into the same habits. You see constantly people going to the altar for the same thing over and over again. And it's because they're not actually changing the pattern that was wired in their brain from their trauma that they experienced when they were young.
You know, I heard this when I researched what you guys are doing, and it resonated with me. And I'm going to tell you why, John, it resonated with me. It's because my wife consumes a lot of water. I mean, a lot more than I consume, right? And yet she's got problems with, inflammation is a big issue with so many people today. And so when I saw this example, you use this globe, and I heard this example about hydration is the key, right? The hydration is key. For cardiac issues, the first thing the paramedic is going to do is they're going to make sure they're going to hydrate you. They're going to put a line in and they're going to start hydration because hydration is so critical. But John, you got this download from heaven about this revelation about how you penetrate that cell. That's amazing to me.
Well, and that really is the game changer, because when we hydrate, that's what we call extracellular. That's water outside of the cell. It's outside. The key is to get it inside the cell. And what Chelsea was talking about with the cellular trauma, look, God made us a triune being. We are all spirit, we have a soul, which is our mind, will, and our emotions, and we have a body.
Right.
We've got to take care of all of those together. And 3 John 2 said, beloved, I wish above all things, you know what all things means in the Greek? All things. I wish above all things.
Are you sure it means all things?
That you be in health. Why? Because God knows the greatest preacher in the world will be diminished without his full health. We've got to have our full health to be an intercessor, to be a preacher, to be a good businessman, to be the best father, to be the best mom. We've got to have the best health. 1 Corinthians 6:12 said, glorify God in your body. In your body. It's a mandate for us as Christians to glorify God in our body and to have our health.
So, and I want to point this out to those of you listening at home, is that when you go to the website, and we're going to drop a link down below, one of the things that just so inspires me about your work is all of these testimonials that you have from couples, a lot of couples. They do your program together, right? And one's getting on and sharing, and another one's getting on and sharing, and they have metrics as well, like real metrics that they're tracking their progress. But this inner cellular hydration, I want to unpack that, John, if we could. What causes a person not to be able to have that inner cellular hydration?
Well, it ties into everything that Chelsea was mentioning. From most people, it starts in their childhood. So, if you've had childhood trauma, which, probably more than 50% of us have had childhood trauma. So I grew up, in Sullivan Avenue, the Bottoms in Columbus, Ohio. So people were murdered. Both of my brothers were murdered. My mom had 8 divorces by the time I was in middle school.
Wow.
It's a lot of trauma that was in my life. So when we teach about trauma, it's because we have experienced something that we have overcome. So I'm 62% hydrated. Chelsea's 55% hydrated. A woman should be 55, a man should be 60% intracellular hydration. And when you see those people on the website, the reason they know is we measure it. We measure hydration.
Yes, you do.
And
You
most
do.
people have no idea.
Yeah.
They go to their doctor. We speak all over, and we've asked thousands of people, how many of you know what your hydration is? Never does a hand ever get raised. It'd be like, what man would drive cross country in his car without knowing how much water and oil is in his car? The liquids are everything. The earth is mostly water. We're created mostly water in our body. We have to know our hydration level. It's the #1 health metric that we need to know.
Typically, anybody who has disease, their doctors will take their blood about every 3 months. So typical for diabetes, high blood pressure, just your normal markers. So it's 88 days with the 2-week foundation phase, and we give you really 3 simple things to do the first 14 days and 3 simple things to do the 88 days. And within that cycle, it really just rejuvenates everything that's going on. Inflammation comes out of the body. So inflammation is really the biggest leading cause of diseases, which is started by dehydration. So that's the thing, is the root of that is, and just to go back real quick to what you were saying about why the intracellular hydration, why that lacks in the first place. So especially when people are younger, and there's a lot of science that backs this up, is that the stress response system of the human body is thrown off when people go through trauma. So it excretes extra levels of cortisol, which cortisol acts like a hardener around the cell. So when that happens, all of the toxins that are in the body get trapped in the cell. So when you have intracellular hydration, the toxins actually release from the cell. People go through it all natural. Everything we teach is all natural. There's no magic pill. It's a complete all natural protocol, steps that we give you to sustain this for a lifetime.
But it's an 88-day program, right?
It's 88 days. I call that that's the cellular transformation cycle, of a human body. And I just have to say this because, a lot of people watching are faith-based people. And Deuteronomy says, as your years are, so shall your strength be. That actually means we're supposed to be getting stronger, not weaker. Stronger, not weaker. But there's also another scripture that says your youth and your strength will be renewed like an eagle. Well, we love to quote that scripture, but most people don't know, the things of God are clearly seen by things that are made. And that eagle makes a decision to transform. An eagle will live about 40 to 50 years and die, unless it makes an intentional decision to renew itself. has to make a decision. And so I encourage everyone that's watching us today, make a decision to renew yourself, because if you will, just like an eagle has to make a decision, and that eagle rips out its talons, rips out its feathers, beats its beak off, and then renews, and then lives another 40 years if it will go through a renewal process. And that's what our transformation is. You know, this intracellular hydration will cause a person to renew like an eagle.
We are John and Chelsea Jubilee.
What we have is simple, it's scientific, it's sustainable.
We have created Energized Health with the desire to change the world, starting with the most important one, which is yours. Our patent-pending science of inner cellular hydration will transform and supercharge your cells, resulting in optimal health.
Log on now to energizedhealth.com. That's energizedhealth.com.
Everybody, we're back on set with John and Chelsea Jubilee. Guys, I got to tell you, recently I went to the doctor for a procedure, and I was looking at the reports, and they had in the reports, well-nourished. And I thought, my goodness, well-nourished, what the heck does that mean? And I have to tell you that I've lost 20 pounds, but I've been losing that same 20 pounds for years now. I lose it, I gain it back. Magic program comes, it goes. People are desperate for what you have, but that skepticism, because there's so many voices that are in the wilderness right now. How do you address your skeptics, sir?
Well, first of all, I love a beautiful, beloved skeptic. I call them beautiful, beloved skeptics, because the skeptical person is an intelligent person, but they still will do it with their skepticism. You still have to be a person of action. And I say that because I personally am a skeptical person. But as a scientist, the word science itself is the search for the truth that is known. Well, to search for truth, you have to be willing to go through the muck and the mire of all of the great marketing that Fifth Avenue throws at us.